Have you ever sat quietly asking yourself, why is Allah keeping me here? You've prayed again and again, with eyes closed, with your forehead on the ground, with tears rolling down your cheeks. You ask for something so sincere, so important, that it almost hurts to speak the words aloud now. And still nothing has changed. The same silence, the same unanswered call, the same weight in your chest that just won't leave. Nihao, it's been days, maybe it's been months, or maybe it's been years, but the ache remains. The waiting continues. And the voice inside you begins to whisper, has Allah forgotten me? My dear brother, my beloved sister, listen closely. That whisper is not truth. It is not the voice of your Lord. It is the echo of doubt in a tired heart. Because Allah Almighty never forgets, never neglects, never ignores. What you are carrying today is heavy, yes, but it is not empty. It is not without reason. And it is not unseen by the one who created your heart in the first place. Waiting can feel like loneliness in its most silent form. You smile, but deep inside something aches. You go through your day showing strength on the outside, but your soul feels like it's cracking under the weight of what hasn't yet come. A job that gives you peace, a spouse who sees your worth, a child you've begged for in the night, healing from grief that won't seem to end, or even just the ability to feel like yourself again. Or even just you start to wonder, what am I doing wrong? Is Allah angry with me? Why do my prayers feel like they're floating into the sky with no return? Let me tell you gently, with all the love in my heart, you are not forgotten. Your tears are not lost. Your silence is not invisible. Allah Almighty is closer to you than your own breath. And this moment, this delay is not rejection. Sometimes the most loving answer Allah gives, it's not yet. We live in a world that glorifies speed. Everything now. Instant results, immediate replies, quick solutions. But the soul is not wired that way. And neither is the divine plan. Allah does not delay out of cruelty. He delays out of mercy. There is a verse in the Qur'an that says, you may dislike something while it is good for you, and you may love something while it is bad for you. Allah knows and you do not know. Let that verse enter your heart, truly. Let it sit with you for a moment. You may be asking for something that looks good from your view, but Allah sees what you cannot see. He knows what tomorrow holds. He knows what that job would do to your peace. He knows what that person would do to your faith. He knows what that yes would do to the path of your soul. So sometimes His silence is actually His answer, and His delay is actually His protection. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, Allah is more merciful to His servant than a mother is to her child. And what does a mother do when she sees her child reaching for something harmful? She gently pulls it away. She holds her child close even when he cries in protest, even when he doesn't understand. Because love doesn't always look like giving. Sometimes love looks like holding back. That is what Allah does for you, out of love, out of care, out of divine wisdom that far surpasses what you can comprehend right now. The waiting is not wasted. It is working in you. Every tear you shed, every night you spend awake whispering your hopes, every time you choose to pray instead of giving up, that is growth, that is transformation, that is strength. You are not standing still. You are being refined. You are being prepared for something greater. So take a breath, dear soul. You don't have to understand it all right now. You don't have to feel strong every moment. Just don't let the silence fool you into thinking you've been abandoned. Allah Almighty is with you. He is always with you. And He has never stopped writing your story. This season of waiting, it has meaning, it has purpose. And in time you will see, you will look back and smile. You will whisper, Allah was protecting me all along. So for now, trust Him, even when it's quiet, even when it doesn't make sense. Because one day, the same thing that breaks your heart will be the very thing that builds your faith. What if Allah is not keeping something from you, but keeping something harmful away from you? We often see delay as a wall, a barrier, a door that won't open no matter how many times we knock. But what if it's not a wall at all? What if it's a shield, a form of divine protection, lovingly placed between you and something that would have broken your heart in ways you couldn't recover from? You see, sometimes the thing you are crying for is not being withheld because you're unworthy. It's being withheld because your soul is being protected. The delay you fear is hurting you may actually be the very thing saving you. Let your heart absorb this truth gently but fully, because the longer you wait, the easier it becomes to believe the lies that you're being punished, that you're being ignored, that your prayers don't matter. But my dear brother, my beloved sister, They do. They always have. Your Lord is never indifferent to your pain. He's not watching your struggle from afar. He is nearer to you than your own sorrow. And His plan for you is more beautiful than the one you're trying to force into place. Sometimes your unanswered prayer is really Allah saying, I love you too much to give you this right now. We don't always understand what that love looks like. To us, love looks like doors opening, like ease and comfort. But sometimes love looks like silence, like a path rerouted, like a prayer delayed. Allah sees your life in full view, past, present, future. He knows what lies behind the opportunity you're chasing. He knows the burden behind the person you think you need. He knows the loneliness that would come with the blessing you are begging for. And so in His mercy, He holds it back. There's a powerful verse in the Qur'an that reminds us of this hidden good. Perhaps you dislike something and Allah places much good in it. We tend to judge moments by their appearance. If something hurts, it must be bad. If something is delayed, it must be unfair. But Allah does not deal with you according to appearances. He deals with you according to His perfect wisdom. And in that wisdom, the delay is often a gift. You are being made ready. You are being protected. You are being rerouted towards something purer, something softer, something that will bring peace, not just to your hands, but to your heart. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, when Allah intends good for someone, He afflicts them with trials. Trials are not a sign of divine anger. They are a sign of divine investment. Allah is not punishing you with delay. He is polishing your soul through it, removing what would harm you, strengthening what will carry you, teaching you the kind of trust that only grows in silence. If your plans are not unfolding the way you imagined, maybe that's not a mistake. Maybe that's your greatest blessing in disguise. Let yourself feel what you feel. The disappointment, the confusion, even the grief. Allah never asks you to hide your emotions. He simply asks you to bring them to Him. Whisper your hurt in prayer. Tell Him what you miss, what you hoped for, what you lost, and then surrender it. Not because you gave up, but because you gave it over to the one who knows what you need, even better than you do. Because one day, and it may come softly and without warning, you'll find yourself in a place you never expected, and you'll smile. You'll look around at the people in your life, the peace in your chest, the strength in your soul, and you'll understand. You'll say, Allah, thank you for not giving me what I once cried for. That moment is coming. It is written. But for now, if all you can do is hold on, then hold on. Keep your heart in prayer. Keep your hope steady. Keep your faith alive, even in the dark. Because behind every delay is a loving Lord who knows when the time is right. And when it is not even the mountains can stop what He has written for you. If waiting meant Allah had forgotten you, then why did even the most beloved to Him have to wait? There is something incredibly humbling in remembering this, that the best of all creation, the most honored soul, the most pure and faithful heart, was tested with silence, with uncertainty, with long periods of waiting. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, knew what it felt like to cry in the darkness. He knew what it meant to ask and not yet receive. He knew what it was to walk through hardship with only his trust in Allah Almighty holding him up. And if he had to wait, if he had to weep, if he had to be patient, then what about us? You see, we sometimes confuse faith with ease. We think that if we're praying, if we're avoiding sin, if we're trying our best, then things should fall into place quickly, smoothly, without delay. But faith is not a shortcut to comfort. Faith is a bridge through the storm. It doesn't take the pain away, but it gives it meaning. Look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He lost his parents, his beloved wife, his children, his supporters. He was rejected by the people who knew him best. He was mocked, insulted and threatened. He was exiled from the home he loved. And through all of this, he waited for revelation, for justice, for healing, for support, for change. Sometimes for years, there were moments he stood in prayer, deep into the night, weeping, calling on Allah Almighty, seeking direction, begging for strength. And the answers didn't always come immediately, but his heart never wavered, because he knew the one he was waiting. He knew that silence from the world did not mean silence from Allah. There is a powerful verse that reminds us of this example. So be patient, as were those of determination among the messengers. Patience is not just waiting, it's trusting. It's surrendering your timeline to the one who created time itself. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once said, the most severely tested among people are the prophets, then those closest to them in faith. So if you feel like your life is filled with test after test. If it seems like every time you take a step forward, you get pulled back again. If your prayers remain unanswered, your hopes feel delayed, and your heart is tired from waiting. Know this, you are walking a path that was walked by the best of creation. That alone should pull comfort, because it means you are not far from Allah. You are close, you are not being punished, you are being prepared. Allah does not waste the pain of His beloved servants. Every hardship, every delay, every quiet night filled with unanswered questions is part of a beautiful process, a divine design meant to raise your soul. So don't rush what Allah is perfecting. Don't curse the delay that is actually cleansing you. Don't question the timing that is building something inside you that ease never could. Imagine this, if the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had received immediate relief at every turn, would we have learned perseverance from his story? Would we have seen his strength, his faith, his patience? His waiting wasn't weakness, it was a lesson for all of us. That strength doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes it looks like tears in prayer. A heart that still shows up, a soul that says, Allah knows no one. Your delay is not empty. Your silence is not a sign of distance. It is a page in your story that Allah Almighty is writing with love. He knows what you're carrying. He knows how heavy it is. And He knows the exact moment that it will all make sense. Until then, be like the Prophet, peace be upon him. Be steady. Be honest with your pain and still tell yourself, if my beloved Prophet had to wait, I too will wait. If he stood in prayer through heartbreak, so will I. If he never gave up on Allah's mercy, neither will I. Because the one who lifted him will lift you. The one who answered him will answer you. So keep going. Not because it's easy, but because Allah is worth the wait. What if the delay is not only about what you are asking for, but about who you are becoming as you wait? Sometimes we become so focused on the outcome, on the thing we are praying for, that we forget the most powerful transformation is happening within us. You may think your life is on pause, but spiritually your soul is growing in ways you cannot yet see. Waiting can feel still on the outside, but inside there's movement, there's shaping, there's deep refinement. Allah Almighty in His wisdom often uses these moments to do the quiet work of the heart, to clear away the noise, to soften the edges of our impatience, to deepen our trust. You may be waiting for marriage, for healing, for success. But what if right now Allah is writing a chapter of your life that prepares you to carry that gift when it finally comes? What if the you of today is not yet ready for the blessing you're asking for? And what if the blessing itself is still being shaped for you? There is a verse in the Qur'an that holds this truth gently. Indeed, Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. Allah is not just concerned with what enters your life. He is concerned with what lives inside your soul, who you are becoming, how you are responding, what kind of heart you are building in the silence. And this internal growth is priceless. It lasts longer than the gift itself. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, whoever remains patient, Allah will make him patient. And no one is given a gift better and more comprehensive than patience. This hadith isn't just about holding still. It's about becoming resilient. It's about developing the kind of faith that isn't dependent on outcomes. Sometimes Allah keeps the door closed because He knows that your soul needs more time to breathe, to mature, to align with what is best. And yes, this is hard, because it feels invisible. No one can see what you're struggling with. No one knows how much effort it takes to keep choosing hope. You may feel like you're standing still while everyone else is moving ahead, but trust me, your stillness has a purpose. The waiting is not a waste. It is preparation. It is cleansing. It is realigner. Have you ever met someone who received something too soon? A blessing they weren't ready to carry? A relationship they weren't mature enough to honor? A success that became their downfall? Sometimes what we think is a blessing can become a burden if we're not ready for it. Allah knows what we do not. He sees beyond the surface. He protects us not just from what could harm us externally, but from what could damage our spiritual state. That's why your waiting is so meaningful. It's a gift of time to become, to rise, to heal. Maybe right now you're learning how to detach from what is not meant for you. Maybe you're learning how to speak to Allah honestly. Maybe you're learning how to sit in discomfort without running away. That is powerful growth. And it will serve you when the blessing finally arrives. You'll be more grateful, more grounded, more aware of what matters and what doesn't. It was a place of planting, of becoming. When Allah prepares a gift for you, He also prepares you for that gift. So don't measure your progress only by what's happening around you. Look inward. See what's changing within you. Are you more patient than you were last year? Are you more reflective? Are you more reliant on Allah and less on the people around you? These are signs of true growth, and they often come in quiet ways. Remember, flowers bloom beneath the soil before they rise into the light. Roots deepen before any beauty appears on the surface. So if your life feels quiet, if it feels like nothing is moving, know this: something is happening beneath the surface. You are becoming. And when the time is right, Allah will unfold your story in a way so beautiful, so complete, that you will look back and thank Him. You will say, Ya Allah, I see it now. I see why I had to wait. I see what you were doing inside of me. That moment is worth every tear, every night of questioning, every step you took in the dark. So hold on. Keep showing up. Keep praying, even if the words feel empty. Keep believing, even if it hurts. Because you are not who you were at the beginning of this wait. You are stronger now, softer, more spiritually aware. And that in itself is a gift. It's one thing to say, trust Allah. But how do you live that trust when the days feel heavy and the nights feel empty? How do you stay soft when your heart is tired of hoping? Waiting can be one of the most silent forms of suffering. You look fine on the outside. You smile when people ask how you're doing. But deep inside, you're carrying a quiet ache. A hope that keeps getting postponed, a dream that feels just out of reach, a prayer that still hasn't been answered. So how do you live through this without breaking? Let me share something gentle, something real. Because healing during the wait is not about becoming perfect. It's about learning how to breathe again with Allah by your side. It's about finding peace in small moments. It's about holding on, not to control, but to connection. And it starts with one simple thing: honest prayer. Not long, not fancy, not memorized, just honest. Speak to Allah Almighty like you would to someone who knows your soul. You don't need to filter your pain. You don't need to hide your confusion. Just say it. You can whisper, Allah, I'm tired. I don't understand, but I still trust you. Please help me. That's enough. Truly, the most powerful prayers are not always the ones with perfect words. Sometimes they are the ones spoken through tears, the ones said with a shaking voice, the ones that come from a heart that still turns to Allah even when it's hurting. Allah is listening. He always is. He says in the Qur'an, call upon me, I will respond to you. Not only when you're strong, not only when you have clarity, but always. Even in confusion, even in weakness, even when you're not sure what to ask for anymore. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, verily your Lord is shy and generous. When his servant raises his hands to him, he becomes shy to return them empty. So raise your hands, even if they're shaking. Even if you feel distant, even if you've been waiting for what feels like forever, speak, He hears you. The second tool is gentle remembrance. Sometimes when the heart is heavy, it becomes hard to concentrate in prayer. It becomes hard to feel anything. That's okay. You're not alone in that. But one of the most healing things you can do is quietly remember Allah in simple words. You can say, Allah is with me. Allah knows. This pain has a purpose. Let these phrases be your companion. Whisper them while walking, repeat them while driving. Let them wrap around your soul during the quiet hours. You'll find that they begin to shape your thoughts. They calm the storm inside. You don't need to feel inspired every time. You just need to keep going. Remembrance, even in weariness, is a doorway to peace. Third, write your heart out. When you feel like you can't speak, write. Open a notebook and pour out what's inside. Your prayers, your fears, your hopes, your questions. You're not writing for people. You're writing for Allah, for yourself. Let your journal be a private sanctuary between you and your Lord. Later, months or even years from now, you may read back and realize what once felt like unanswered prayers were actually chapters of transformation. You'll see how far you've come, how deeply you've grown, how many invisible battles you've won. Sometimes the greatest answer is the strength that bloomed inside you forth to choose gratitude, especially in pain. This one is difficult, because how do you say thank you when your heart is breaking? But even in your sadness, there are gifts. If you look closely, you'll see them. A friend who checked in, a moment of peace, a verse that came at the right time, the heartbeat that keeps going. Say, Allah, I don't understand why I'm in this season, but thank you for this breath. Thank you for this roof. Thank you for your mercy, even when I can't feel it clearly. Gratitude doesn't remove the trial, but it brings softness. It invites light. It reminds your soul that even in hardship, Allah's kindness remains. Fifth, serve someone else. When your own world feels dark, light someone else's. It could be something small, a smile, a text, a quiet donation, a kind word. There is a hidden power in service. When you give from your emptiness, Allah fills you. When you lift another soul, your own soul begins to rise. You don't need to be fully healed to help, you just need to be willing. And lastly, let go of the timeline. The world tells you when things that you should be married by this age, that you should have a career by that age, that you should feel better already. But who wrote that script? Not Allah. You are not behind, you're not late. You are on a path written by the one who knows exactly what your soul needs. And when it needs it, say to your heart, I don't need to have it all figured out. I just need to keep walking. Allah is writing my story and He never rushes perfection. This is how you heal during the wait. Slowly, softly, through presence, through faith, through honesty. One step at a time, let's bring this closer to your everyday reality. Because it's one thing to say, be patient, but it's another thing entirely to sit in the middle of heartbreak, rejection, or uncertainty, and still choose trust that the relationship will improve, that the pain will lessen, but deep down it keeps hurting. You've made prayer after prayer, you've asked Allah for guidance, and yet silence, you wonder if the silence means you're meant to stay, or if maybe, just maybe, the silence is the answer. My dear soul, sometimes Allah doesn't remove someone immediately. Time to detach from something that was never meant to stay. Let this be a gentle reminder. Love is not supposed to crush you. It is not meant to leave you begging for the bare minimum. If something is constantly wounding your heart, maybe Allah is teaching you that it's time to release what you've been clinging to. Not because you didn't try hard enough, but because He wants to give you something better, something pure, something that doesn't confuse your soul. And yes, it's painful. Letting go of what you prayed for can feel like giving up, but it isn't. It's handing the pen back to Allah and saying, write a story better than the one I was holding on to. You see, closure is not always a conversation. Sometimes closure is clarity. And clarity often comes through pain, or maybe your struggle is in your career. You've applied for countless jobs, you've watched others succeed, you've questioned your own worth. You scroll through social media and feel behind in life, and the question creeps in again, what's wrong with me? The answer? Nothing is wrong with you. You're not behind, you're not broken. Allah is not ignoring you, He's redirecting you. Your path is not supposed to look like theirs. It was never meant to. The delay in your career may not be a denial of your worth. It might be a divine pause, holding you in place until you're ready to receive a purpose greater than just a paycheck. No, there's a different door opening soon. One you haven't even considered. One that aligns with who you really are, not just what the world expects from you. And while you wait, while you do your part and show up every day, trust that Allah is arranging things in ways you can't yet understand. Even in the delay, something sacred is unfolding. And then there's the struggle most people never talk about. Mental and emotional pain, energy, depression, emotional wounds from the past, the kind that no one sees but you carry every day. It's easy to believe that if your faith was stronger, your sadness would disappear, but that's not true. Struggling with your mental health does not mean your faith is weak. It means you're human. Even the strongest believers have felt deep sadness. Even the most beloved of prophets cried in pain. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, wept when he buried his loved ones. He grieved, he mourned, he felt. And yet he was the most beloved to Allah. So what does that teach us? That being emotional does not make you distant from Allah. That having hard days does not mean you failed. That you can be broken inside and still be held by Him completely. Allah knows what you carry. He sees the wounds no one else sees. And He does not expect you to pretend you're okay. What He asks is that you turn to Him with whatever you have left. Even if it's not much. Sometimes healing takes time, and sometimes it comes slowly, quietly, like dawn after a long night, measured by milestones, marriage, career, children, achievements. And no matter how much you do, it never feels like enough. You are trying. You are surviving. You are showing up with all your heart. But the weight of others' expectations is suffocating. Here's the truth many forget. You are not on this earth to fulfill people's timelines. You are here to walk a path that belongs only to you. A path between you and Allah, not between you and your relatives, not between you and social media, not between you and anyone else's expectations. You are already enough. You are already seen, and you are already deeply loved by the one who made you. So if today your struggle feels invisible, if the silence feels like abandonment, remember this: Allah has never once left you. Not in your tears, not in your waiting, not even in your doubt. He is with you. carrying you, strengthening you, rebuilding you from the inside out. There is beauty in this delay. And one day you'll look back and see that it wasn't just a pause, it was preparation. Take a breath, just for a moment. Let your shoulders relax, let your heart be still. You've been carrying so much. Quietly, bravely, maybe with a smile on your face and a storm in your chest, maybe with steady prayer on your lips and a breaking heart inside. But you kept going, you kept waiting, you kept believing, even if just barely. This is not nothing, this is faith. And if you've made it this far, through the silence, through the struggle, through the long nights of wondering when your prayer will be answered, then I want to say something to you now, something soft, something true. Allah Almighty sees you, and He has never once left you. Your delay is not a punishment. It is not proof that you are forgotten. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is part of your story, a sacred part, a chapter written by the one who knows the full book. Sometimes the delay is the answer. Sometimes the waiting is the mercy. Because in that waiting, something happens that no one else can see. Something shifts within your soul. You learn to rely on Allah in a way comfort could never teach you. You grow roots in your faith. You learn to breathe through surrender. This is a spiritual transformation. And it's beautiful. Allah Almighty says in the Qur'an, indeed, the help of Allah is near, not forgotten, not lost, near. You may feel like nothing is changing, but your heart is changing. Your trust is deepening. Your nearness to Allah is increasing. And that matters more than the outcome, more than the thing you're asking for. Because sometimes Allah delays the gift to give you something far greater, a connection to Him that nothing else could bring. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us, be mindful of Allah and you will find Him with you. What a promise. That in your waiting, you are not waiting alone. That in your pain, you are not abandoned. That in every unanswered prayer, there is a nearness that words cannot fully capture. So my dear brother, my beloved sister, choose to trust the silence. Choose to believe in the delay. Not because it feels good, but because you know who holds your life in His hands. And He has never made a mistake. Let go of the pressure to be perfect. Let go of the timeline that says you should have it all figured out by now. Let go of the fear that maybe this season will never end. Your story is not stuck. It's unfolding slowly, gently, in the exact way it's meant to. Allah is not in a hurry. He is not rushing your growth. He is nurturing it, step by step, moment by moment, until the right time comes. And when it does, it will come with such ease, such clarity, such peace, that you'll forget how heavy the waiting once felt. You'll smile and say, Subhanallah, this is what you were preparing me for. But for now, if you are still in the wait, let this truth carry you. You are loved, you are chosen, and you are being guided. Not every prayer is answered with a yes, but every prayer is answered with something better. Sometimes it's the gift itself. Sometimes it's the strength to live without it. Sometimes it's something you never even thought to ask for. Allah gives in perfect measure, and what's not given yet is not lost. It's reserved for the right moment, for the best version of you, or for a higher place you can't yet see. So choose peace. Even when the wait is long, choose gratitude. Even when it hurts, choose trust. Even when you don't understand, because your delay has meaning, your pain has purpose, and your story is still being written with care, with mercy, and you don't have to fix everything. You don't have to carry it all alone. Just keep turning to Allah, keep opening your heart, keep walking one prayer at a time. The day will come when the waiting makes sense, when you look back and realize Allah was never holding you back, He was holding you close. So hold on a little longer. Your answer is coming, your peace is coming, your heart will smile again. And until then, know this, you are not alone, you are not forgotten, and you are exactly where Allah wants you to be, because the one who created you is still writing something beautiful for you. And when it arrives, it will be worth every moment you waited.